Dead by Daylight just dropped their new developer update for January 2025 for the Freddy Rework, or in other words, the Nightmares Rework. Changing his power and abilities and other things like that. We're just going to dive right in as a P100 Freddy Main. We're just going to see what the vibes are. So apparently from the very start, we have the press active ability button to swap between Dream Snares and Dream Pallets. Apparently it's been long requested. And they want to give you both the abilities so that it can raise the skill ceiling while providing him with two different tools to utilize in a chase. Okay. I kind of saw this coming. I wasn't really too happy about it when I had found out initially, because I just really wanted old Freddy in that like really cool like soul grab thing he would do, but obviously, you know, that's not going to be the case, unfortunately. So it is what it is. I wasn't really sure what they were going to do, how this would function by having having both active at the same time. I just thought it didn't really make any sense. But it does make, at least it's so that, you know, you put both in the base kit so you don't have to feel like you're kind of tied to one or the other, and you can just have both and use them. That's cool. Dream Snares now move at 12 meters per second with a cooldown of 5 seconds. They can go through walls and upstairs, but not off ledges. So it's saying that they move. The Dream Snares move at 12 meters per second. So you're saying that the snares are going to travel in directions? Is that what's going on? What? Because you're saying that the Dream Snares move, right? So does that mean that they took off the hindered thing that he has, or do they keep that? Because then he slows down a little bit when he places down the snares. So Dream Snares now have unique interactions with survivors, whether they are asleep or awake. Sleeping survivors will be hindered for 4 seconds. Awake survivors will gain 30 seconds on their sleep meter. So basically you can place on your snares against survivors while in chase, that even if they're awake, and you just can kind of use it as a way to boost up their sleep meter, but not to actually hinder them unless they're asleep. Okay, it's basically doing the same thing it did before, which is nothing, but now it's doing something. Okay. All right. Okay, Dream Pallets can be triggered to explode in a geyser of blood. The explosion occurs 1.5 seconds after activation with a 3-meter radius. When a sleeping survivor is hit, they become injured. When an awake survivor is hit, they gain 60 seconds on their sleep timer. Dream Pallets being able to damage people is insane. Like, yes, this is what we want. Oh my god, because think about it this way, like they have to complete the animation of dropping the pallet, so I'm pretty sure that guarantees that you're gonna get the hit. Now the thing is, it's saying that when an awake survivor is hit, they gain 60 seconds on their sleep timer. So does that mean that the dream pallets are outside of the dream state too? Like, is that how that works? Because you're saying that awake survivors can be hit by a geyser, so you know, how else would you activate the dream pallet unless they're asleep, right? So maybe they put it out there. The Nightmare can now teleport to completed, blocked, and endgame generators, as well as any survivor healing in the dream world. My goodness. What? Dream projection on a healing survivor will teleport the Nightmare within 12 meters of their position. Upon completing a teleport, survivors of the 8 meters will be revealed with Killer Instinct to gain 15 seconds of their sleep meter. That is insane. Yes, this is what we're looking for, boys. The Nightmare can teleport to any gens, including blocked. Like, that means that you can have Dead Man Switch or Thrilling or whatever, Grim Embrace. I mean, you could use any of those perks and then just teleport to it. That's freaking awesome. And endgame gens too, so he can actually have, he actually could do something during the endgame. That's awesome. And then any survivor healing in the dream world. That's interesting. Because I know healing in, I don't know if it's just me and my imagination, but I'm just like, anytime I've been playing DBD as of late, the heal speeds have been insane. So like, if Freddy has an answer to that, you know, especially if they're asleep and you can just teleport to them healing, that's insane. Like, what the heck? So you can see any survivor healing. So I'm assuming it says maybe you can use Nurse's Calling potentially, who knows? But it's saying that you can teleport to any of them while they're healing. So maybe like you'll be able to. It's like giving you Z block when you go there, and then he adds like time to their meter. That's cool. The teleport cooldown has been decreased from 45 to 30 seconds, and the teleport can no longer be canceled. The downside, I think, is the second part. it can no longer be canceled. Kind of sucks for us Freddy mains out here, like that one of the common things that we probably see a Freddy player do, start teleporting to a gen that the survivor's running to, and sometimes you can get them to make a bad path, and you can catch up to them because they're not going to that direction. So that kind of sucks that it does take that away. There is another mechanic that Freddy does have though, is like when survivors are asleep, it actually decreases the cooldown even further, about 10 or 15%. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but about 10 to 15% for each sleeping survivor. So it can, I'm assuming it'll go down the more people that are asleep, obviously. So 30 seconds is a great buff, but the problem is the teleport can't be canceled. So it's like, ah, crap. In the dream world, healing survivors will be revealed by Killer Instinct as long as they are healing, lingering for 3 seconds once they stop, allowing the nightmare to teleport to them. So I guess you won't really need nurses calling because you'll just be able to see them. And it says they're giving the dream world a visual polish. Like they can try to make it look more like a dream. So they add maybe like, if you remember on that like movie theater map, got all those cars in the sky and stuff like that. I was thinking like, why don't we have like floating trees and like floating rocks and pallets and things in the sky, you know what I mean? Like just to really add to like how it's like, you know, it's the dream, you know what I'm saying? So that, like, that to me I think would be really cool, is that the alarm clocks are usually like really far away from a lot of the objectives that were going on. So like if they were on a gen, they'd fall asleep, and then all the way across the map was like the alarm clocks. They would have to get off and then run all the way over there to go wake up from that, and then have to come back, which can provide a smidge of slowdown. It's not much, but it provides something. I will say though, at the very least, the added bonus says that after using it, it goes on cooldown for 45 seconds, which it can't be used. That's good. That's not terrible. They brought up a couple add-ons. So they said that the red paintbrush says that the original would start the trial in the dream world, and then the failed skill checks don't wake them up. But now it says revealed the aura of survivors in the dream world when they're further than 32 meters away, increases each survivor's sleep meter by 50%. So it will take longer for them to fall asleep, I believe. But once they are asleep, you can see them pretty much the entire time. So that's not a bad trade-off. Now I will say that it's still a very good add-on. Maybe not like as necessary. The only thing I'm wondering though is like, will skill checks still like wake them up? Will failing skill checks still wake them up? Or like, because if it does, then that's kind of gonna be a problem. And then they changed black box, so it says that recently opened exit gates are blocked for 15 seconds. Exit gates are blocked for sleeping survivors for 15 seconds when they're open. I thought this was always the case. I'm a bit confused by this. I thought it was always like 15 seconds for that recently opened gates when they're asleep. I thought this was always the case. I've never seen it opened, just blocked for everyone. It was always if they were asleep. I'm confused by that. Swing chains, it says that the footsteps are louder. They wanted to change it so that they block all vaults for 16 seconds. I mean, for 16 meters for 6 seconds. But yeah, so my thoughts on the Freddy rework so far. I will say it's not terrible. They definitely did an okay job. They've definitely played it very safe. I was thinking maybe they could have just brought back the original power and like kind of reworked it that way. But instead they decided to just kind of go with whatever, you know, whichever the general consensus was obviously was just, hey, let's just have both abilities and on to the base kit, which is fine. Good idea to kind of have the ability to swap between the two. I guess it can open up a good amount of gameplay that you can pull. Snares moving though, I don't know what this means. Like, this is what I want to see in action. This has got to be my favorite part though. Having the dream pallets deal damage has got to be the best thing ever. Like, that's got to be the best thing ever. That's freaking awesome. That really adds a little bit of anti-loop or a little bit of like lethality to Freddy that he didn't have initially. Very solid, I will say. And yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. And we just got to see what happens when the PTB drops.